Welcome to Nintendo Dads episode 461, recorded on January 18th, 2024. On tonight's episode, we unlock Business Justin with some sales numbers, talk about our favorite Nintendo games of 2023, and go over your questions. Jesse, you know what to do. And don't worry, Justin's here. He's just, playing his game, and we'll talk about what games we're playing later.
I'm here. Frick, I got distracted. Hey, folks, what's going on? Justin Masson here with Nintendo Dads. I'm the host with the most, who now has lost his voice. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 461. Joining me is our usual cast of characters, minus one Marty Estes, making the buttons go down and the sounds go up. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jesse Waldeck. Jesse, how are you today, sir?
Pretty good. I wanted to quickly talk about our dinner tonight. We have a thing around the middle of January in the Kansas City area called Restaurant Week, where like a lot of especially the higher end restaurants will come up with an abbreviated menu at a slightly discounted price to encourage more people to go out to try the restaurant, and if they like it, they would hopefully come back later. So where we went to tonight was like $55 a head for a 3-course meal, and I had like sea scallops with lobster risotto. My son had, I think, crab cakes. My wife had a Wagyu beef. Have you ever heard of this?
Yeah, Wagyu beef. It's typically from Japan, as I recall, and the cow is like really taken care of and minded very well.
Yeah, it's they're, according to the Wagyu shop website, they're from a specific breed of cattle called Kuroge. It's only found in Japan, and it's like really the marbling is kind of a unique texture, and it's really, they say it's really tender. So my son and I each had a bite of her dinner, and my son, I think, described it best with, it's like chewing a marshmallow. It was so tender and good, and I kind of wish I ordered that as a whole meal. But I just wanted to share that was amazing. So again, looking at the Wagyu shop website, they sell the imported cuts, and yeah, we're looking at like $150 to $200 a pound.
Wow.
So yeah, this is very expensive and very, very good beef. I'll probably never have a chance to eat this again, but if I do, I'm definitely taking a chance at it.
Nice.
Fair enough.
Now I'm hungry. Thanks,
No
Jesse.
kidding. That's
You're welcome.
That's pretty fantastic what that does. That sounds absolutely great. Well, excellent. Speaking of a man who's not a piece of Wagyu beef, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Timothy Off. Tim, how are you, Bell?
I'm doing pretty good. Just thankfully it was a short work week for me because our company had Martin Luther King Day off. So, but it still felt like at times a full work week because of how busy it was. But for the most part, it was great, especially with this week's latest release. It was a lot of fun gaming wise too. So
yeah, we'll talk about that latest release that you're kind of implying a little bit later. Maybe one of the reasons I was so distracted was because you showed me some things that I needed to learn. But ladies and gentlemen, that is for later in the show. Mr. Marty Estes is not able to join us today, so it's us three. I would say the most three handsome of the Nintendo Dads is your co-pilots today, so we're excited to be here. We're going to jump right into our news, and of course, let's press the button. And the news is brought to us by, Manscaped. I'm going to talk about them in our ad break later. But of course, the news is really brought to us by you, by all of our fantastic folks over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads, where for as little as $1 a month, you can help keep this dumpster fire on the road and going every single month. We greatly appreciate your support. We appreciate over the 100 supporters on Patreon that support us there. You can also support us over on Twitch as well. And ladies and gentlemen, this is This is our 10-year anniversary. This year, Nintendo Dad celebrates 10 years in episode 500. We greatly appreciate your support for everything that we do, and we are excited to bring you some amazing things coming up in 2024. We have got a pipeline of ideas to celebrate with you, and so we greatly, if you've never joined, maybe now's the time to join so you can get into our Discord. You can get all that additional content there. We had Fantasy Critic, our Fantasy Critic League started off this year last weekend, which was fantastic. We're excited to jump in that. You've got the Chubby Bracket. There's so much content. And by the way, as a perk, if you are a Patreon subscriber, you get an ad-free version of the show, which means you get 0 ads. Maybe that's worth your $1. I don't know. But nonetheless, I digress, folks. Patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. All right, let's jump into the news. It's not a lot, folks. It's January and it's pretty quiet, but by the way, we have got some fantastic news items about some sales. Tim, you kind of teed me up on this one earlier. Why don't you share with the wonderful folk what do we got to talk about?
Sure. So we got some sales numbers from MPD for December and basically what happened over the year 2023. And I found some interesting information in here. So we'll go over it and see what it sparks for you guys. And then I'll talk about what I thought too. Starting off first, past December, we got, everybody's buying a lot of games, either last minute for Christmas shopping or they're spending their Christmas money, whatever. However, there was games bought. So number 10 is our all-time favorite game that's been probably in the top 10 for the past 7 years now, and that's Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
I think it missed a month.
Did it?
I think October it fell off.
Yeah, I think we reported that. Like it was the first time in like 6 years that it was not in the top 10.
Right. So, but I mean in December at least, probably. So, but yeah.
Yeah, the holiday shoppers brought it back up with the bundles.
For sure. And the bundles, yep. Another game, number 9, this is available on the Switch, but on other systems, NBA 2K24, Mortal Kombat 1, EA Sports FC 24.
Coming at 7.
At number 7, yes. And then number 6 is Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora.
Let's take a pause there. I was actually shocked about where that landed.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of people, including Drew on the Dad's After Dark show. He's been playing this, and Solo something, I think, because he really loves Avatar. So we got a lot of people in our community playing it.
Yeah, like I think, what I
heard.
Wait,
we have a first look of it actually. Sorry to interrupt, but
that's okay.
Let's play because Solo did that for us. He did that on his PlayStation.
Solo's good stuff. You know what I'm saying? He's well done, well done, sir. I think this is interesting, right? Because I mean, Avatar. Ubisoft sometimes, has that like, it's just blue Far Cry, right? Was sort of the statement that we heard a lot of. But and it to not be a pre-established franchise, like it's an IP that's known, but it's not a pre-established franchise. And I also we're going to talk about another sales number here when we get to 3 here. That's like, well, that totally makes sense. Avatar is a good IP. Like people know Avatar, but it doesn't have, I think, the cultural penetration of something like Harry Potter. Right, or Star Trek, or Star Wars, or like
it's also only had 2 movies in 12 years.
Yeah, right. I mean, sure, it's got a theme park, right? And so like they do a lot of
Harry Potter did 7 movies in that time.
Yeah, they do a lot of like promotion on it, but I've never had like someone who's like, man, I'm just like foaming at the mouth for Avatar, right? And so I think it's interesting to see it place at number 6. Sorry, number Tim, 6, I'll let you continue.
No, it's I think it's a good opportunity to talk about these top or these back 5 before we get to the top 5.
Yeah. I also wanted to remind that any Nintendo games, this is physical only, does not include digital, but PlayStation and Xbox do include digital for comparisons.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. And then to kind of go back over some things, that's something I'm really excited about is that EA Sports, the FC24 game, their soccer game, since they had to rebrand that, did really well still. So that was good to see. And plus that was on the Switch. I'm excited about that we got their Frostbite engine that they said they couldn't get to work on the Switch, eventually to work. And we got that sports game, which I'm hoping, if not with the current Switch, at least with the successor, we'll get some other EA Sports games on the successor with that coming over. So Yeah, and then of course Mario Kart 8 we talked about, always showing up on
Yep.
usually these lists. So, but for December it makes sense. All right, and then we go into the top five, which starting with number five is Marvel's Spider-Man 2, which is another bundled game with if anybody got a PlayStation in a lot of cases. They had a couple bundles, and one of them was the Spider-Man bundle. And then the Hogwarts Legacy was number four.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about overall in a minute, but let me just mention this. Overall for 2023, Hogwarts Legacy was number one overall. So
Yes.
I'd have to
Crazy.
say they did pretty well for that game.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
Yes.
So much
And
for all those calls to boycott the game.
it helped that they did a good job on it on Switch too, I think. So Switch
Sorry,
also.
question, and maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe my timing's wrong. So keep me honest here. Didn't like Hogwarts Legacy came on the Switch obviously last month, it was or November, right?
November.
Yeah.
Wasn't it released in 2020?
No, it was like February 23 or something.
Yeah, it was
like that.
early
February.
2023.
Okay, I was like,
it was really early.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yep. And we had to wait for it on the Switch.
Yeah.
Marty played it on the PlayStation.
Right.
And really enjoyed it there.
He's not a real true Nintendo fan. I've been telling you guys that for years.
Madden NFL 24 was number 3, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder was number 2, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare was number 1.
Yeah, not a shock there about Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Like
Right.
we typically see when they chart, they are typically the top of the chart, right? I think last year we shared some information. I think they were like, I think we did the exact same conversation we're having today.
Yes,
but they were like, number 1 is Call of Duty. By the way, they only had 7 weeks to get there, and yet they did it, right? And so,
well, that's
because
also why I wanted to
Their
bring
player
up,
base only plays that game.
well, but I also wanted to bring up too that for December, being number 2, Super Mario Brothers Wonder was number 2, was pretty good.
yeah,
So
that's fantastic. So I'm going to suspect, people are putting that under the Christmas tree, or hey, I'm picking that up, and I think I'd said to you guys last week when I was talking to folks about like, because I'll get texts, right? Hey, it's Christmas time. What should I be getting my kids?
What game? Yeah.
What games, right? And so my response, my 1-2 punch was, you get them Super Mario Wonder and you get them Disney Illusion Island, and let me tell you, you won't hear a sound from your children for hours. You're gonna have the most peaceful Christmas morning possible. So that's great thing for Wonder. No doubt. Wonder got so many just positive reviews afterwards. Again, I agree with this as well.
Yes. And speaking of hardware, Nintendo Switch was number 2 on the hardware list for December.
Yep.
And Sony PlayStation was 5, and Xbox was number 3.
Yeah, I think that's pretty aligned with, I think, what we've seen from the industry. A couple of things, right? Sony made a very not bold statement, but was very open and transparent this year, especially coming into the holiday season, that their supply chain constraints were no more. Right. And their statement was like, if you are looking for a PlayStation 5, you should definitely be able to find a PlayStation 5. P.S. Have you played our new Spider-Man game? Right. So I think I don't think this is shocking at all. And I mean, finding PlayStation 5s now in the wild is pretty easy as we're finding those things.
Yeah, when I got up to go, when we went out shopping and we had to make a stop at Best Buy, and I saw a wall of PlayStation 5s, I figured, oh yeah, I think that drought of PS5s is over.
Yep. Exactly. And then you said number 2 in the Nintendo Switch.
Yes.
And then number 3, Xbox X and X. This is sort of the I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm actually a little bit shocked that Nintendo isn't 3 and that Xbox is 2. Right. And I'll just tell you like my own perspective around that. I think like I'm shocked, but I'm not shocked, if that makes sense. I'm not sad or mad. I'm just disappointed. Right. Because I mean, really, Xbox, like the Switch is 7 years old. Right. Like the cultural saturation mark for Switch is high. Right. So I would love to know what the actual like numbers here on these hardware is. But I think it just kind of speaks to like Xbox has been kind of blunt. They're not winning this generation. They're in third. And I think we've talked about that change in strategy that they're having now, which is like, hey, we want to get our we're becoming just a very big publisher really now at this point. Like they're not getting out of the hardware game, but like, hey, we want to make sure our games are on every platform available, every screen available. Jesse, don't fall asleep on me. I see you closing your eyes. I see you waddling. Don't do that. You have buttons to press.
Trying to find the actual numbers here. Exactly.
Good job, buddy. Yeah. So I think I don't mean to be a jerk here. And Xbox fans, and you're going to send your angry emails to Marty Estes at nintendodads.com.
Yep.
By the way, I know y'all used my email address a couple weeks ago on the send your HR complaints, and I was like, you son of a bee. I think it speaks to the health of the Xbox in general. And I think that they're struggling, right? They're struggling to find that voice. I think they're struggling to make compelling reasons, I think, for owning the product. I could be wrong, and I'm sure the Xbox Drive or our good friends over at Game Pass Tracker, I was like, what's it called now? Game Pass Tracker, Sean
yes.
and Nick probably have some very strong opinions countering against me. But yeah, that's disappointing for sure.
Yeah, there's no dollar amounts there.
Okay.
I thought there were on that chart, but no. Not
Tim,
the ones I was looking at.
You want to run us down our top 20 best-selling games of 2023 in the US?
Actually, I just did like the top 10, and then I noted a few things after 10 that I'll bring up. So
yeah.
But we started, like I said, number 1 was Hogwarts Legacy for 2023, which is phenomenal, and it makes sense because it's a great game.
And this, so why don't we go number 1 and number 2, because this is very interesting.
And Call of Duty is number 2. Yes.
Modern Warfare is typically 3. Number 1.
Yes, this is typically the third one.
Number 1. And did I see a tweet recently that EA said that Hogwarts Legacy sold 22 million copies or something like that?
Might have.
Something ridiculous.
That's makes sense, and that's
they were
probably why we're
it.
getting. Yeah, it makes sense because they also announced the DLC with that too, right? So or around the same time because they got DLC coming.
And they should be gloating about it, right? So
right. Yep. So, and then of course, number 3 is Madden NFL 24. So of course, Madden's up there that's what we usually see: Call of Duty, Madden, and all that kind of stuff. Number 4 was Marvel's. So this is Nintendo's and Sony's 2 games coming at 4 and 5. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is at number 4, and number 5 was Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. That was Nintendo's number 1 game of the year.
Now, remember what I said about physical versus digital?
Yes. Yeah. It probably would have beat all of these, or at least close.
Come on, Nintendo, do me a favor and just like combine them so we can actually see the numbers.
With it only being physical, it's still number 5.
Yeah.
So, and then number 6 was Diablo 4, and then Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 was number 7. Mortal Kombat 1 at 8, Star Wars Jedi Survivor 9, and EA Sports at FC 24 at 10. Now, interestingly enough, just beyond that, number 11, Starfield, actually sold pretty well at number 11 for 2023.
I wonder if they're including all those little $30 add-ons so people can play it from their Game Pass 3 days earlier. That's a good
question. Yeah.
Do they count that as a sale?
That's a good question. Number 12, and this is where I thought it was really interesting because of it coming out in November. Super Mario Brothers Wonder, or Bros Wonder, came out, is at number 12 on the best-selling games of 2023 in the US.
Not
number
bad.
12.
Not
and
bad.
it was only out for a month and a half.
and physical only.
And physical only, yes. And then jumping down to 19, you got Mario Kart 8. Is number 19 on the list in 2023, and then Minecraft was number 20.
Nice. Interesting. Anything else stand out for you for those?
Mainly the Mario Wonder, being number 12 on, being only physical and only out for a month and a half at number 12 for the year. Well, I thought that was very interesting and very cool to see. But all the usual suspects, it appears, is on the list, except for Hogwarts Legacy, obviously being, number 1.
Yeah.
So kudos to them for getting there. Anything you guys saw on the lists that stand out to you guys? Oh, and Starfield, sorry, being number 11. I thought
Yeah.
that was, hopefully that means something good for them.
Yeah,
I've got nothing else.
I wonder. Sorry, I was just thinking of Starfield. I wonder like how Game Pass tracks how that number turns into this. Do you know what I mean? So like with Starfield, we're tracking digital and physical sales, but like, what is the subscriber usage on Starfield? Do you know what I mean? Like, I
I
think
think
Yeah.
they said,
it's
didn't they say that over 12 million people have played it? Doesn't
yeah,
give a break of how many bought it
people
versus
bought it
Game
versus
Pass
Game
did.
Pass. Yeah. I think this is sort of like the challenge with these sort of data sets. And I think also with like how I'm gonna use the word like filtered
Yeah.
each of these variables could be, right?
I think we would have a lot of fun with this data, if you
Yeah.
will, if we could play with it. Like dig into it. How does the data come in? How can we look at
Yeah.
the list if we filter out, like you said, the digital versus physical sales,
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. Or does it count subscription sales?
Yeah. Like all of a sudden if in a couple of weeks from now Nintendo puts out like, hey, by the way, Tears of the Kingdom sold 35 million units, right? You're like, okay, well, that's physical and digital then, right? Oh, that changes that list, right?
Yes, it does.
But on this reporting list, it doesn't change the list because it's only reporting one thing. So there's a lot of like filters, and I think there's definitely and you can when a game has exceeded the expectation or done very well, because you will get like the game goes out on Friday and like Monday there's a PR drop of like, there are 12 million players on Starfield. Thanks for exploring
Right.
the universe with us. You're like, yeah, okay, you're happy.
Yep.
Right. Who was it? Was it one of the Pokemon games where like we sold like 15 million copies in 3 days, like something ridiculous like that.
I think it was Scarlet and Violet. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I called it Nintendo was doing the same thing when Tears of the Kingdom came out too. I was like, yeah, we're going to see a tweet on Monday.
And
like,
we did.
Yeah. Welcome the, 13 million people who are playing this weekend. You're like, whoa, that's incredible. So,
but it also makes me wonder, like anytime I remember I had to pull together data and create a report, I had to base the data on like information.
yeah.
So if you're able to report on PlayStation having both physical and digital sales, why pull it together with everything else that may not have those same numbers?
Mm-hmm.
Like have a list that's just physical, or if you can pull out those numbers, unless they just provide the numbers together, and that's why you can't. Maybe PlayStation just gives you, here's the numbers for everything, and that's the number you get.
Yeah.
We're not going to split it out, so maybe that's why. Yeah. But I don't know. I just like dissecting data, I guess. So, all right. Yep, that's all it for the numbers. So
Okay.
the next thing is on the Game Developer Conference.
Yeah, well, tell us more about the Game Developer Conference then.
So Game Developer Conference surveyed over 3,000 developers that say that 8% of them are currently working on a game for the Nintendo Switch successor, with 32% of them saying they are excited about the successor.
Does that mean we have almost 250 broken NDAs?
Probably.
Right.
Awesome. Great.
No names on it, so we don't know who said it, but yeah. But it's interesting. Why is it only 32% saying they're excited about the successor?
Maybe it's like, hey, we don't know, or I don't know.
Yeah. Or the developer could be an Xbox only shop or a PlayStation only shop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Phil Spencer, you excited? Get out of here. Piss off, right? So could be. Yeah, I mean, I think that the thing I am the most curious about is the first 2 years of the Switch successor. Because I think, we had heard earlier or late last year, like not EA, I apologize, Activision Blizzard, maybe it was EA also, who was like, yeah, we totally missed the boat. We should have been there earlier and we weren't, and we were sort of playing catch up, and that wasn't great.
EA was first. EA was first, then Activision came in later. Yep.
I sort of wonder who's like, yeah, let's not miss that boat, right? Let's make sure we're ready.
Yeah, of course, this also has, Wii U had the same thing. There was a lot of developers who said they were excited about it, but a lot of them went bye-bye really quick.
So I think it'll be very interesting to see. And this, this is why I think, if you look at our predictions from last week, there were some like I predicted Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or whatever the one from last year is, right? Like, why not? Like, I'm sure Square would be like, man, we'd love to get this on a platform like that, because by the way, it's money in our pockets too. Right. So I think you're going to see a lot more of these third parties saying, like, if we can make our game work, we're going to make our game work.
Right.
And I also think this is sort of like why we sort of starting to see some of the third party or double A games starting to like not come to the Switch, that you're like, well, shouldn't that be coming to the Switch? And they're like, I think Jesse, or Persona 3 Reloaded was a great example of like, come on, Persona 5 is on the Switch, you're gonna tell me 3 Reloaded can't come on the Switch? I think there are some publishers and developers who are making decisions who are like, we're just gonna hold for the Switch 2, and then we'll just put it there and it'll be fine. I would be curious if GTA 6 hits the Switch.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
It
I don't know.
depends. Yeah, that would be.
Because I had my speculation, and it's just a guess. I have no knowledge of this at all. Just speculation is that sometimes when we get remakes from a company or remasters or whatever, like Red Dead Redemption, that's the developer telling me that they are getting used to the software and development for that system. And then they're going to release something else because now they got the feel for that system.
Yeah.
So between that and Rockstar's, Batman game, so it's like, is there something else coming?
I think for some companies, there's definitely like a low hanging fruit, right? Like,
yeah,
hey, we've heard, can it work, right? Is there some money for us in them hills, so to say, right? Where we can make this sort of work relatively easy and scale properly. And again, I'm not a game developer, so let me be very clear. I don't think like snap a finger, it's drag and drop a file and you're good to go.
Yeah,
it's not that.
Plop this right over here.
Yeah, I don't understand why you don't release the game, right? Like, I totally understand that, but I do think you're probably right of developers kind of being like, is there an appetite for our game, and is there an audience, and let's get comfortable. What does this look like? How could this work? Okay,
right.
All right.
Start off with something that it's like, hey, let's take this game that we got over here. Can we remaster it or repurpose it so it works well on the Switch? Let's test that out. See if we can get our feet wet with the tools on the Switch, and then go from there. Is what I like to think. I have to ask a developer that sometime if we
will have to ask that question.
Get an interview if I can remember that. So, yep, that's what we got going on in the Game Developers Conference survey. So, and then next up is just the release and updates, where we've got out now, we got the Golden Sun and Golden Sun Lost Age games from the NSO. And then out soon is, for those who like shmups, The Legend of Steel Empire, which is an updated version of the shmup Steel Empire, which was on the Sega Mega Drive, GBA, and 3DS. And it'll be $25. Coming out on January 23rd. And then another Code Recollection, which comes out
tomorrow.
So that's
tomorrow. Yep.
Almost now. I guess it depends on
when you're
listening to this.
Maybe it comes out today or tomorrow or yesterday or
an hour and a half.
Last Friday.
Right.
Depending on maybe when you listen to this.
Keep an eye on our YouTube channel. Hopefully we'll have
But if you're listening live, it releases in an hour and a half.
Way to destroy the magic of podcasting, Jesse.
Justin, you did a demo, did a video on the demo.
Yeah.
And I played the demo.
What did you think?
Jesse, did you play the demo?
I have not.
Okay. I enjoyed it. I really liked it because I enjoyed it because of the story. And I think the demo, I always like it when the demo will carry your save over, especially if it's a long game.
Can we applaud that? More games do that.
Right. So
did anything carry over from the Prince of Persia demo?
No. It was a slice.
Boo.
It was a slice.
But I mean, also, thank you, Ubisoft. Yay.
Yeah. Those, we talked about this, I think, a little bit last time about that demo only being a slice.
Yeah, because I mentioned during the pre-show, you start with 15 arrows instead of whatever normally you start with. And you started with 6 amulet slots, where I saw screenshots of someone only having 4. So again, you start with less than that.
Yeah, it was
So
funny
the
when you
demo
mentioned
beefs you up a little bit.
yeah, when you mentioned it in our pre-show, and I was like, wait, hold on, how big was that demo? I was like, how did you get that far?
But I think the demo is great for in that instance for people on the fence, like not sure about it. Like, what kind of game is it? Am I going to be? I don't usually like Metroidvanias, but this game sounds cool. Let me try it out.
And again, for context, folks, that's Prince of Persia that we're talking about right there.
Yes, Prince of Persia.
In regards to another Code Recollection that Tim and I both played, we'll have some coverage of that. But like, I was interested because Tim, you had mentioned you were like, I played, I really liked it. And it was funny, during Christmas break, I was like, we need to put some content on the Nintendo Dad's channel. And I've got a free afternoon, so let's play this and see what happens. I really by the end of that, I was like, this is really good. This is
cool. It was a very intriguing story.
Yeah, and not a game that I would typically play. But I was definitely I was hooked. I think the demo was like an hour and a bit, and I was like, this is super cool, and it carries over. Okay, yeah, we're gonna go ahead with this one here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was really, really into it. As a matter of fact, so much so that I'm looking to get it as well, right? And yes. Tim will be our lead content creator on that one. But yeah, the thing I struggle with, I don't know about you, Tim. Spoiler alert for those of you that haven't played the demo. So if you haven't, you're super want to go in unattached to anything, pause for a minute, all right? Or fast forward a minute. Don't pause, because if you pause a minute, you're just in the exact same spot this conversation is. All right, so fast forward a minute. The stool, Tim. The stool.
Oh yeah.
And the gyro thing like that. That almost made me stop playing. I was like, this is so frustrating. But
oh yeah, I imagine because this was a DS game, and then the second game was on the Wii. So you're gonna have motion controls going on.
I was like, do I need to pull my Switch out and do this? I don't it would just angered me, just frustrated me.
Yeah, that particular puzzle was frustrating because I couldn't get the angle.
Yes.
To be able to get the keys to drop out of the slot. So of the stool. But I felt really proud of knowing that stool had the keys, before any hints came up. It was like, I bet you there's something to do with the stool.
Yeah.
And then sure enough. So yeah, I like the puzzle aspects of it. And that's why I think I was getting into it. Plus the story kept feeding me to want to know more.
I found the story compelling. I thought the VO was good. I thought the puzzles were challenging. And I love the kind of comic book looks it had at times, and I was like, this is not my typical kind of game, but hey, I'm gonna explore a genre here that I don't typically explore. Let's give this a shot. So narrative puzzle solver, I guess, is kind of what it may be called, right? So
looking forward to that and playing some of that. It would be good. It'll be a good thing to play in between that and the fast-paced Metroidvania of Prince of Persia.
100%.
So and then out later is the Ace Combat 7 Deluxe Edition coming out July 11th. Which was announced this week. And I'm really excited about this because kind of it falls along the lines of when Burnout was announced to come out, and some, even Batman, all those different types of games that have been out on other systems for a while. Ace Combat 7 has been out on other systems for a while, and I've had it on my wish list on those systems for a while because I love Ace Combat games. And I was excited to see this coming to the Switch, and it looks, from the videos, it looks good. So I'm hoping, we got a good port of it. We're getting all original content, and it's also going to have the multiplayer between 2 to 8 players. So a lot of dogfights. Not sure if it's just local or online, but we'll find out more about that soon. And then you also get 6 DLC packs and bonuses from the original game that's included in this deluxe edition. So
nice.
Needless to say, I'll probably be getting it here on the Switch when it comes out, to be able to play it portably. So that's it for all the game releases and news. Let's go on to our ad break.
Folks, support Nintendo Dads is brought to you by Manscaped. Fantasy football champs, our friends at Manscaped want to congratulate you on making it to the 2024 playoffs. As for the rest of you, well, the fantasy gods have spoken, and it's time to shave off the didn't make the cut playoff beard. No more hiding behind facial hair. Embrace a clean slate with Manscaped's Beard Hedger. because nothing should be as unruly as your failed trade strategies. Embrace victory and join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with our special offer. Go to manscaped.com and use the promo code NINDADS, NINDADS, for 20% off and free shipping. Again, that's manscaped.com, NINDADS, NINDADS, for 20% off and free shipping. Big thanks to Manscaped for their continued support of us into 2024. And folks, they are the absolute best in beard products. We love them. Absolutely do. Beard Hedge Pro Trimmer, or the beard hedger that we're talking about here is an amazing product. And they got a fantastic kit that comes with moisturizers and comes with some lotions and a big brush for your beard. And the thing I like about the beard trimmer is there's like different settings by every like 0.5 that you can alter it to for your length to keep it nice and trim and tight. I want to grow a beard just so I can use that that product. And I'm going to be honest with you, with all the products that Manscaped sent me, that's the one that I think like the lotion smelled the best. Like it was like the oil smelled amazing. I was like, I want a beard to use these amazing things. And I gave it to a friend of mine because he actually has a beard and I don't. And he's every time he messaged me, he's like, what's that promo code again? I'm like, the promo code is NINDADS, NINDADS, for 20% off and free shipping. Chris, you know how this works, buddy. Come on. So don't be like Chris. Use that promo code. And again, big thanks.
Tell him to use the peak hygiene program.
Yeah, for sure.
Worry about it. So, but yeah, and then they also have the I forget what they call it, but because I don't have that one, but I think you have it. The
handyman, compact handyman.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. That is like when I come in here with that baby face look, that is directly because of that thing. This right now is a lack of it was too early in the morning. I went to my razor at 6 a.m. this morning.
Right.
So, yeah.
But Jesse, you use that too, because you got your goatee and you use the sides, right?
I use it on the sides. It works nice.
Yeah. Big thanks to Manscaped. All right, let's jump into the Let's Discuss. Like, I don't want to call it, but like we're 30 minutes into the show and we're just like buzzing by. I don't want to think like
you just jinxed us now.
Marty's the problem, maybe? I don't know.
No, you just jinxed us now.
All right.
We're jinxed.
All right, Tim, what is our topic? Let's discuss.
Yeah, we talked about a couple weeks ago. We talked about our top Nintendo games of 2023. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to talk about some of those games we play on other systems, whether it be PC, Xbox, or PlayStation. What are some of the top games you played? It doesn't have to be in any specific order, but just call out some of those games you had fun with in 2023 and maybe even carried over into 2024. But for the most part, what you got?
Sorry.
You don't have to get choked up about it. Jesse, you got anything?
Air.
Let Justin catch his breath here without swallowing more air, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think I played on Xbox much, other than just some game sampling on Game Pass. But the game I played the most on PlayStation, and I've mentioned this before, would be Vegas Ultimate. That's the VR poker game that I've been playing. I log in nightly at least to spin the wheel and collect my daily bonus. And I normally try to do at least one tournament a night. If I do well, that could last an hour. If I don't do well, I could be out in 2 hands.
Right. So would that be your number one PlayStation game because of how much you played it, or would there be something else?
Yeah, I would say that would be my number one. There's a few other games I've played earlier on before Vegas Ultimate or Vegas Infinite launched that I don't even remember much. Like Townsman VR was pretty good, but that was kind of doesn't have a lot of replay value unless you really want to go for all those achievements, which I kind of didn't care about. But it's still, I did enjoy my playthrough on that.
Gotcha.
But for non-VR PlayStation games, again, I don't think I played much.
Excellent. Justin, how about you? What you got on your Xbox?
Yeah, I'm going to explore more.
You froze a bit there. Are you still there? Nope, he's not there.
It just doesn't want to let him talk about his Xbox, I guess. All
He
right, I'll
was
talk about mine a
confused.
little bit while he's trying to get. Oh, there it goes. It dropped. All right, so he'll be back in a moment, but I'll talk about one of the games I've been playing into 2024, and that's Baldur's Gate 3, which I've been playing on PC. Actually, which is interesting, is my PC probably would not be able to handle Baldur's Gate 3 very well. So I still bought it, and I'm playing it through NVIDIA's GeForce Cloud Gaming, GeForce
Okay.
Now. So I've been playing it through Steam. I bought it through Steam. So I've been using Steam through their cloud version of their.
But you've been playing it as a streaming game.
Yeah, so I've been playing it and I have no problems. Play it through the browser. In fact, I can't even get the doggone Windows app to work correctly there, but I've been using the GeForce Now through Chrome tab, playing through their streaming, and plays just fine. And I've been playing with multiplayer with Shannon and Sam. So that third strongest mole from Sam from Retrologic, and then Shannon, who's helped me do Friday night NSO sometimes with Chris. And he's also does some of our videos for us. So, but yeah, I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3 in there. So that's one of my top games for sure of 2023 on other systems. All right, Justin, sounds like you're back.
I'm back.
What you
Back at
got?
it.
What were you gonna
Yeah.
say?
No, I was gonna say, like, I think, my Xbox was really interesting this last year. It was my first year with it. And my Xbox, people are gonna hate me for this. My Xbox primarily became my Call of Duty, I apologize, my Fortnite and Overwatch platform. Because every Monday night I game with my friend, we play online games, and that's what we play. And just the experience there was so much stronger than on the Switch. Like the fidelity
Right.
was just stronger and easier. I did have some opportunity to play some Xbox games, a couple of them that stood out for me this last year. And one of them that's coming to the Switch, I think you should all check out, is Planet of Lana. That one is a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. Somerville was another one I called that I thought that was going to be coming to the Switch. It didn't.
Nice.
But a couple of those games were, those were sort of the games that really interested me. Still have the Xbox, but I think I'm still very much drawn to the Switch console, and Xbox is primarily sort of I really can't get that anywhere else, and I really want to try something very unique experience. I only had like Game Pass for I think a month or whatever for my subscription to give it a shot, but yeah. And I played Luna twice just to try it out, and it was okay. I actually thought about picking up Avatar Pandora on Luna just to give it a shot as well, but I chose not to pull that trigger.
Yeah, that's how Drew's playing it.
Yeah. So
Excellent.
yeah, those were sort of the games I played. I didn't really venture off from the Switch actually that much. Again, I think it's sort of like I didn't find anything else that compelling, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? That wasn't like it's like, yes, I could play this over there on Stadia. Oh, Stadia. I could play this over on the Xbox, but I got so much over here on the Switch that I think last year, and I think also my methodology changed, right? I was completing games more. And so when I was playing games, I wanted to play games that I was putting time into to complete them. And so I think that change also sort of forced my hand of where I was playing games, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Right. If I have time, I'm playing on Switch because we've got content out or a review, or I've got to finish it for the next thing. So it's sort of like there was nothing on Xbox that was pulling me that way.
I found myself playing more games on PC because I think I was trying to get away from. I mean, I did play Sea of Stars a lot on my PlayStation 5. So that's where I spent a lot of time there playing that game. So, and that's available on the Switch as well. But I played it on PlayStation because I got it through their PlayStation Plus program. So since I got it through there, I didn't have to get it through my Switch. Otherwise, I probably would have bought it. Actually, I still bought it for my Switch now because Jesse posted that it was for sale for the physical version, Sea of Stars. And I pre-ordered that. So I will be getting it on Switch still physically because that was my game of the year last year. But
I played that on the
playable
Switch because I got the Kickstarter code from that.
Yeah, because you and Justin kickstarted it. So nice. And then, but yeah, mainly on PC, it seemed like I was playing a lot of stuff like Magic the Gathering Arena, was another game that I played a lot of throughout 2023. So I could play some Magic the Gathering there. And then Marvel Snap on my phone.
Yeah, I was playing with Marvel Snap too. Yeah.
So every now and then I play a few games on my phone. And actually I have since I got the Backbone for my phone, I downloaded Chrono Trigger and played that a bit on there, and
Nice.
and it's actually got controls that I can use there, and it was a lot of it's like, ooh, this is fun. I could play that on my phone. So yeah, those are a lot of my top games for 2023 outside of the Nintendo Switch.
Nice. It was a great year for gaming, for
Yes,
gamers.
for sure.
For gamers, there was a lot of content that you could get a hold of.
Oh, and Starfield, I did dabble a bit on that on the Xbox as well. So
I had a friend, he got Starfield on his he had downloaded on his PC or whatever, and he was trying to get me to play, and I was like, no, not doing that. I'm not doing it.
I got as far as you can sit in a cockpit and fly a ship, and I'm like, I don't know how to fly this ship, and that's when I shut it down.
You're just lost in space now.
I'm just floating out there.
Just flying around. Or actually, you're not even, you're just seeing wherever you go because you're not flying. All right. Yeah, but that's it. I just wanted to see what you guys had for other stuff. So
yeah, good discussion.
Let's move on to events.
Do it.
All right, we got the table that happens every third Friday of the month at 10 p.m. Eastern. The community gets together at the table to discuss whatever is on everyone's mind. We usually call it the dinner table because it's, usually at night for most of us. But I call it the table because it could be any time of the day. We get together at the table. And if you want to join in, you just have to subscribe to us via Patreon or Twitch and get access to Discord and join in. It is very therapeutic, I've been told. And I feel it's the same way. So we also have Dads After Dark events like Monthly Mayhem. We'll have some new ones coming up in the new year. So stay tuned to us and the Dads After Dark show. Listen to them for details on events they got going on. And then our also Retrologic side of things. If you go check them out, they got a monthly Retrologic Retro Rewind that they do. And you can go to our Retrologic channel to learn more about that, or their own Discord to learn about that there as well, and even vote for which games they play for Retro Rewind. So lots of stuff going on in the communities. For the table, you have to, be a Patreon or Twitch, but and then for Monthly Mayhem, you also have to do that too. But for the Retrologic Retro Rewind, you can go join their community for free. And it is also another awesome community out there. So
nice.
That's it for events. Let's go on to what we've been playing now.
Do it.
All right, it's been a few weeks since we've been able to talk about what we've been playing, so we've got a stockpile of games to talk about, and to get off our chest because we've been scratching at the bit to be able to talk about these games. So let's start with you, Justin. What you've been playing for the past few weeks?
Yeah, the only game I've been playing last few weeks is Prince Persia: Lost Crown, which is out now, right, for everyone to purchase and play. And I know people got early access to it. 18, almost 19 hours in at 50%. I was grinding. Didn't play it much this actually. We had some people visiting and down here, and then I was saying to the pre-show, I actually got one of the things I really like about the game is just how much accessibility and customizability you have in regards to your gameplay. And they do have a couple of assist modes to be able to assist in areas that you're struggling in. I actually, I don't mind a good area where you just gotta this sounds bad. Get good, right? I'm gonna grind. I'm gonna there's some spots where you've got dash, double dash, jump.
Yeah, you definitely just gotta get used to that timing.
There's some spots where you just kind of learn, right?
Yeah.
And I knew, and you make a little bit more progress, and maybe you go back, you try again, you die, and you make a little more progress in this. And I had probably died there a couple times, and this warning pops up on the screen, which was, you can actually jump through this area by using an assist portal. Would you like to do that? And I was like, no, moving on. Right. It was sort of a reminder. And I was like, get out of here.
Right.
But I I got to a boss, and I don't want to spoil which boss it was, but I got to a boss fight, and I was just getting destroyed all the time. I spent like 45 minutes just playing constantly, at least, and just not getting any further, not finding the right moves that I need to complete, right? Not, just, and so I just like, this is actually stopping my progression of the game. Like, I'm getting to a point where I'm like, am I stopping playing the game because I can't get past this? And for me, that was like a super frustrating moment, right? Because I was like, I have loved so much more of this game, and this one moment, and I know that it's a skill, right? And so I just went into the difficulty mode and went custom and scrolled down to enemy, and I just like scrolled their strike or hit box, or not hit box, but they're like how many points I get taken away from when I get hit, down pretty low. And then I was like, and we're going to go back to the boss fight, and congratulations on my first try. Yay, I killed him. Right. And then I moved on to then the cutscene occurred, and we did the event and I did the thing. And then I went right when I was done, went back into settings, put myself back to the regular, like I think it's called warrior mode, which is normal. And then I was on. And I was just like sort of encouraged by, I think sometimes there's so much of this like toxic gamer culture around like, just get, and I did say before, like, just get good, right? Like, you got to grind. And I think, we are in a time now for playing games that we can say like, no, like that's not enjoyable for me, and it's taking away from my experience. So you know what? I want an assist. I want a help mode to do this one, and then I got what I needed. Awesome. And now I'm in, right? And I beat the boss, and then I just like, and then I was able to keep exploring and doing what I want to, and it's still a challenging game. I still find it hard. So I guess like, just if you're me, and I will tell you, with Prince of Persia: Lost Crowns, the bosses are hard. Like, and I'm on warrior normal mode or whatever it is. They're hard. Like you are going to get to them, and you're going to like, you learn patterns, you learn their cues, like you do every game, right? And then you think about like, why do every time this thing happens, their move, I die? What am I doing wrong? And then you're like, wait, what abilities do I have again? Oh, right, I can do this and this and this and this. And then you start to like put the pieces together of like, oh, there's okay, so I need to dash there, I need to teleport there, I need to use this box thing, like all of those sort of double jump, like all those pieces, and you're like, now I've got it.
Right.
And when all of that comes together and you're able to like defeat them, that feels great. But there are also times like, no, I'm just going to fix my skill.
And that's why I stopped playing the demo.
Yeah. And that's okay. Right. I'm loving it. I'm 20, like I said, almost 20 hours in. I'm heading up to see my folks this weekend. I'm going to throw my Switch in my bag, right? Probably, lay in bed in the morning when I wake up and play a bit for a while. But like, Prince Persia: Lost Crown, if you haven't played the demo, play the demo. You may not like the demo like Jesse did, but it's out there. You should try it.
I also am not a fan of the combat.
Yeah, and that's okay too, right? So that's all I've been playing. That's it.
Nice. And then we've all, like Jesse said, he's tried it in the demo, but we've all played it. Marty's playing it, and I've been playing it as well. And we talked about it in pre-show. I actually showed you one of the things I was doing, and you were like, "Oh, I didn't do that." So
yeah, that was great. I was like, "Oh, thanks."
But I'm only 7 hours and something minutes into it, and just in one of the first bigger areas that you jump into. So, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. It is, I would say if you loved Metroid Dread or the 3DS Metroid game, then you'll probably dig this, and set it at the difficulty level that you're good at. It's like, I'm not a good enough gamer to be as difficult as some of the settings they have, but right now it's set to normal, and I'm sure I'll probably be playing with that setting too when I get to certain bosses. But
there's no shame in adjusting, right? Like,
I'm playing to have fun, with a little bit of challenge. So I didn't go down to the story mode level, but yet, but I kept it at the the level they intended when they designed the game. So for now. But the other thing I like too is if you don't like parrying as part of the mechanic, then you probably won't like this game, because there's a lot of parrying and timing with that as well. And there's a lot of dodging. So you got to get used to that. So there's parrying and dodging
Yeah.
and attacks.
When I described what I didn't like about the demo, I said, "What is this? A platinum game?"
Yes. So, but I really like the parrying and dodging mechanics in this. It seems very easy to pick up, very intuitive, and feels great when you're successful and you are really zoned in on those moves. There was there was a couple recordings I made too. It was like it wasn't necessarily parrying or dodging, but it was a slide kick move that I was able to kick a bad guy right into some spikes, and I was very proud of that moment. So I recorded it. So
As you should, as you should.
So, but it felt the combat feels really good in the melee combat and all that kind of stuff. And then the ability to collect the amulets, like you said, to help with deciding how you want to fight as a fighter and help you retain some abilities. Like there's an amulet to help you regain some health after blocking or something like that, or a couple of other amulets do things too to help you with playing. That's how you can customize how you play as a gamer. And I found that really fun and exciting. And I kind of alluded to in the pre-show about it feeling almost like a roguelite game where you pick things in order to make a run. But you don't lose these things. You get to keep them every time. So
And I think like the amulets is a great example of like, I didn't really play with my amulets very often. But like in that last boss fight where I was like really getting destroyed, I was like, I need to like change these. I need to adjust. I need to make
find what works best.
some corrections. Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. It seems to be a good game to start off 2024, especially if you're in a Metroidvania type gamer. Or as Nintendo likes to call them, search adventures, search action games, I think it is. So
interesting title.
I heard that. I was reminded of that by Seth over there, $2 Hero.
Yeah,
he mentioned it in his over there at their show. So I was like, oh yeah, that's right. The search action games. It makes sense because Nintendo can't call their own Metroid game Metroidvanias because then it would also include a game they don't own. So
yeah, that's a good point. That's a great point, actually.
But all right. So Jesse, what else you been playing other than trying out Prince of Persia?
Okay, so I have a whole list of games from all over the place. So I want to start with, this is a board game that I got for Christmas that I forgot to mention when we talked about our Christmas gifts a few weeks ago. It's called Abducktion, with a D-U-C-K. So do you remember I told you when my daughter was here for Thanksgiving, she left all these little plastic ducks all over the place that we were finding? This game is pretty much based around them.
Okay.
So
that's the reason why you have D-U-C-K in the middle of abduction.
Yes. So like we only played it once, so I don't trying to remember how it was played. We each have these little boards that are like 5x2. We're able to place 10 random ducks on there. We draw out of a UFO.
Sounds amazing already.
And then our cards help us to rearrange the ducks in different orientations. Because there's different colors. There's 4 different colors ducks. So yeah, and you're trying to match colors and orientations against options available on another set of cards. And if you can match it, then you win the card, and that's your points. Some are easier to get, they're only worth 3 points. Some are harder to get because they might require 6 out of the 10 spaces and require 2 different colors. So, and those could be 10 points. So then whoever has most points wins after whatever the end game criteria happens. So it was a fun little game.
Nice.
Then
Abduction.
I have
to look that up.
Abduction. It was really Facebook ads was spamming it all over the place before the holidays. I don't know if they still are.
Well, it will now for me because I'm looking it up. And I just said Abduction, the board game. You hear that, Facebook? Abduction, the board game. There we go. Just making sure Facebook heard me.
Yeah. Let us know next week if they start throwing ads at you. All right. So Sea of Stars. I am so frustrated right now with that thing. I was able to get all 60 conchs.
Congratulations.
So I have access to the end game,
Woo.
and again, I'm stuck in the middle of the end game trying to finish this thing.
What are you stuck on now? What was it?
Trying to catch a glowing fish.
Oh, that thing. Okay, yeah. Because you need it for
It's a key to the next section.
Yep. Yeah, that was. I remember that one.
And it's
I had
not.
to fight with that one a lot. That fish a lot.
It never bites. So how the hell am I supposed to catch
Really?
this if you don't bite?
I didn't have
Right.
the problem with it biting. I had a problem reeling it in.
Did you do any of the other fishing events or quests to maximize your fishing skills?
No.
Okay, I have.
Okay.
And
I didn't know that it got maximized. I thought it was just fishing to get different fish to make recipes.
if once you open the fishing pond in your Terrytown type of city, I forget what they call it, then the more unique types of fish you catch,
oh yeah, that's
grants
right.
you
Yeah.
upgrades with
Yeah.
I think 23 or 24 is the maximum. I think 23.
Got it. Yeah, I was able to bit every time. It just reeling it in was my issue.
Yeah, a lot of the upgrades do help with the reel it in, but it doesn't bite for me. I'm confused.
Yeah, we'll have to. What are you playing it on again? Switch. Okay.
Okay, but I'm probably right there near the end of the game.
Well, kind of.
I got a ways to go. So okay.
Yeah, because this event will allow you to get a recipe that will help with fighting the last boss.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So during the holidays, Steam always has big sales. So I saw that the Daniel Mullins games, Inscription, The Hex, and Pony Island were on a discount. They had a bundle for like $20 for all three of them, or something like that. But since I already owned Inscription, I was able to get the other two games for under $3. So I gave Pony Island a try, and it's definitely a weird game. It starts off with like you're this pony and you're just jumping over hurdles. It's stupid tedious, and then like something in the game programming starts talking to you, and you have to like go into the game's code to change things around to give yourself upgrades so you can go further. It's
okay.
I don't know if it's a game I'll finish because I just don't play on the PC as much as I used to. Yeah. But again, it's Daniel Mullins, so if you like that type of game, it's that type of game. I haven't tried the Hex yet. I do want to give that a try. And then, of course, we know that Pony Island 2 is coming out probably 2025, maybe 26. He wasn't even sure when he did the trailer.
Right. Sometime in the future.
Yeah. Then also on, what was it? Epic Game Store had a thing where they're giving away like a free game for like 2 weeks instead of their normal once a week game. And Human Resource Machine was in the rotation. And that's a game that I played on the Wii U.
Yep.
And along with its sequel on the Switch, 8 Billion Humans. And I didn't play all of it, but I think I played like 85% of the game in like a day and a half.
Did you?
Wow.
Is it because you just remembered some of the solutions, or just because it's an easy thing?
It was easy for me. It's because that's the way my brain works. But I think most people wouldn't be able to go that fast.
Okay.
Near the end, you started getting into sorting routines that were kind of difficult.
Okay.
But I might go back and finish that. And then I might go back and play 8 Billion Humans again. I don't know. Then, I talked about Cubic Games had a set of free games going on during the holidays as well. We talked about that. One of them was Catlord,
Mm-hmm.
that I gave a try. I've never played Vampire Survivor, but this looks like a spoof of that.
Okay. The
Yeah.
Catlord one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're in the middle, running around this area where just swarms of enemies come towards you, and you're just shooting whatever one's closest to you. And yeah, you're trying to collect what the items that drop, and if you get enough points, then it unlocks the next area. But if you can't unlock the next area, you can use those points as a currency to buy upgrades for your next run attempt.
Okay.
But it's like 1% increase. So I'm like, okay, you have to buy 50 of these for it to be really meaningful. So yeah, it's a grindy game. So I didn't play much of it.
I did. I picked up the one you posted, was it today, for mob control?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't getting any of the other games. I got kind of a mix of those already, but there was other ones I wasn't interested in. But the mob control looked interesting.
Yeah, that one's
Just
kind of like one of those games that looks like the fake game ads you see
yeah,
on mobile
almost like
games.
mobile game. Yeah. But it looked
Yeah.
like it had some card mechanics too in it. So
I didn't I played it for about 5 minutes and didn't understand what the cards meant. So
okay. The video looked interesting though, where you're just basically sending mobs of people against other mobs of people to try to take them out.
right.
So it looked interesting.
Okay. The last two games I want to talk about are in television homebrew that I picked up and played. One of them is Space Panic, and I'm like, the name sounds familiar, but I couldn't figure out why. Where did I hear this game of before? And as soon as I loaded it up, I'm like, oh yeah, I loved this game as a kid on the arcade. Basically, it's a single screen game with ladders and platforms and all these monsters. And you have to like dig a hole, have a monster fall into it, and then fill the hole up to make them drop down to the next level. That's how you kill them. If they if you don't kill them fast enough, they'll crawl out of the hole and could level up. Which in their leveled up states, you have to have them drop through 2 floors in order to
That sounds scary.
kill them. And all this with a time limit.
I do not like time limit games. They stress me out.
So you have a time limit. You have touching the enemies is a death. You can fall down your own holes, and I think that's fine. But yeah, it's a lot going on quickly, and I was able to play far enough in that I actually got to the 3rd level of monster, where you have to have the enemy fall down 3 levels, which is like more than half the height of the screen.
Mm.
So that's a lot of pre-planning you have to have, and of course, if a monster falls into a hole and then crawls out, it fills the hole in. So if
Okay.
you're trying to set up a 3-hole dive and a monster lands into your second layer, you got to go back down and fix it again and go back to the top and hopefully try to get that level 3 to land in that top hole so you can make it fall down.
It does sound like a lot going on.
Yeah, so I'd suggest you look up YouTube for a video just to see how it's played. I don't think this is. I think it was a game that was popular in the 8-bit computer era, but wouldn't have been in any home consoles. So
unless they recreated it some way somehow, and
yeah, I don't think this is on the NES, but there's like definitely a Commodore version. There's an Atari 400 version, I'm sure. So there's an Apple II version, I'm sure. It's just that was the era of that type of game. It was made in like 81.
okay.
So it's very rudimentary, simple graphics. Even the arcade, and the Intellivision is a little bit bulkier because of how those sprites work, but it plays the same. And speaking of playing the same, the second game, which surprised me that it would such a thing could even exist, someone ported Dragon Quest to the Intellivision. And so remember, the Intellivision has these plastic overlays that tells you what the keypad does. So I'm showing now, trying to show on the screen what the overlay would look like, and I'm not having much luck.
You just got to put it in front of your face. No, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so it's got your commands. Just if you remember the original NES, you had talk, stairs, item, take, door, search, status. So they were all assigned to buttons. Yeah, they were also available through just the regular menu as well. But newer versions of Dragon Quest has quality of life improvements on it. Like you step on stairs, you automatically go up or down. You don't have to push the stairs button. And
that's a quality of life.
It is.
Just go up the stairs.
And you get more XP per battle, so the grinding isn't so bad. Now, this is like a direct port of the NES version.
Okay.
It is slow. You have to push the stairs button. So
that's funny.
It was interesting to actually see it run on a television. Music and everything was great, but I don't think I'm going to be playing this in completion. Although it would take 30 to 40 hours with all the slow battles
because of
and
how
all
slow,
the grinding.
yeah, how slow it is.
Yeah. Where last time I played it, I played it on the Super Nintendo port with an English translation patch. I played the game in like 10 hours. So,
all right.
Okay, so that's everything I've been playing in the last 3 weeks.
Nice. I just saw that we got a subscription from Ebicel, so thanks Ebicel for that. I was trying to look at it a different way too, but it just disappeared on me. But thanks Ebicel for the sub, and if anybody else subbed while we weren't looking, we appreciate it as always. It's very cool, and I'm guessing Ebicel did kind of the same thing I did, and we used our Amazon Prime subscription on Twitch is where I was talking about for anybody who's listening. So
I have 3 days left, and it won't let me re-up with Prime until it's fully expired, where they'll more than gladly take my $5 to continue the subscription. Before
I'm always reminded with a commercial when I come to the Nintendo Dads, and it's after that point.
That's happened to me only.
There's a commercial.
That's happened to me only once.
All right, so the games I've been playing, I talked about this earlier about my top games of 2023 outside of Nintendo. What I've been playing is Baldur's Gate 3 with Sam and Shannon, like I mentioned. We did a run this past weekend, and we're getting close, I think, to the end. So I think a few more. We've already maxed out our levels. We did not mod the game to go beyond that, although we kind of talked about that. And I said I probably couldn't do it because I'm playing through NVIDIA's GeForce Now cloud gaming. So I probably wouldn't be able to mod the game anyways there. But we were flirting with that. But yeah, I've been playing that there. Fantastic game. I can see why it was, game of the year in places. So my frustration is because I'm playing on a PC is the camera angles. Sometimes the camera gets in the things get in the way of the camera when I'm trying to pick the right thing to throw my magic at, So, and people have been hurt by my magic because I couldn't do it right. All right. So I've also been playing, I finished Sea of Stars in the time, in the last few weeks that we, couldn't talk about our games. I finished that. I did not do New Game Plus because it was like, as much as I love the game and as much as it's number one on my list for 2023, I had to do something else and play something else. So, but maybe I'll go back to it, especially because the DLC is supposed to be coming. So I'm looking forward to that. And there is an alternate ending if you play New Game Plus. So, but New Game Plus means doing all of that over again, what I did in that span of time. So, although I'm hoping it would be quicker anyways, because you keep all your powers and all your stuff in New Game Plus. All right, that was Sea of Stars, and then I beat Howl also as well in the past few weeks. That is the indie game that we saw at a few indie directs ago, I think. But it's that
Yep.
tactics game where you get 6 moves, and in those 6 moves, you got to decide where you're going to go on a grid, and you get card abilities on certain steps, and there are only certain abilities that you can play on those steps. So you got to strategize how you're going to utilize those cards or your own abilities to get through that board in the amount of rounds that you're supposed to get through. Like when you start it, it'll say you got to get this done in 3 rounds. So you got to figure out how to get through that board with the enemies and obstacles in 3 rounds with only 6 moves per round. Finished that. It was a very cool story. Very worth finishing the game. It was a short game too. I can't remember how many hours it was, but I was able to get through it. I want to say less than 15 hours. So, and again, my 15 hours means probably people that are, can play things faster, probably means 10 hours for you. So, but yeah, it was a short game. So that was Howl. And I think that's available on multiple systems as well. I also picked
Yeah,
up,
it
okay.
was originally a Switch exclusive. It is coming out on other systems. I don't know if it has yet, but it will be
Okay.
if it
Thanks
hasn't.
for that. Thanks for that clarification on that. I also picked up because everybody was talking about it, Cobalt Core. That is a roguelite game, kind of like what I was talking about earlier with how I felt there were some elements of that in Prince of Persia. It is where you get cards, um, and you make a run with your characters on a ship to destroy other ships that get in your way through this path that you got to find, or that you go through. Um, and make a run through like this galaxy map. And the farther you make it, the better you get, the better artifacts or relics that you get. I think I can't remember because it's been my mind. I haven't played in a while since starting Prince of Persia, so. But it is a roguelike game where you got to make a run and try to get as far as you can without dying or getting your ship destroyed. There are upgrades along the way. You get ship repairs. You find out a little bit about the story, which, if I remember correctly, seems like there's a time loop involved because one of your characters runs into themselves, but an evil version of themselves. So there's also kind of like an alternate universe type element to it. So there's more compelling stuff there that I want to play more of, but it's one of those things where it's a roguelite that I can just jump in at any time and try to make a run or two at some point, at any time in between some of these other games I'm playing. So I got that going on. Uh, then recently, yesterday, the 17th, I dropped a first look at the Cub, um, which I've been playing, which we also saw in the summertime at some of the summer shows, this game called the Cub. It's basically it's a story-driven game where it's a platforming game, but it's based on the games that you played in the 90s, like the Disney games like Aladdin, Jungle Book, all that kind of stuff, Lion King, where it's difficult platforming, where there's a lot of challenges and a lot of things you gotta platform quickly around. And then you solve puzzles and all that kind of stuff to get through that board and the story. While doing this, you listen to a radio station from Mars that tells stories about how the character you're playing uh, is stuck on the planet Earth, not stuck, but they're a child who was left behind, an orphan child that was left behind on Earth, kind of mutated and stayed on Earth, still a kid, but is able to live on this planet without issues, because the reason why people left Earth and went to Mars is because there was Earth couldn't sustain human life. So lots of stuff going on there. So it's a really interesting platformer where it has this deep story. What did I call it? Not what I call it, but in books it's called speculative fiction. So it's based, in the future, future. Um, There's another word I was trying to think of. Traumatic type things that happen.
It's kind of reminded me of that Wasteland golf game that I didn't like.
It is based on that, and that's another game I'm playing is Golf Club Wasteland. It is actually in that same universe, and there's another
Okay.
game called I have it's only on Netflix right now, and I downloaded that for mobile. It is called, where are you? Come on. High Water. These three games are all in the same universe. So the Golf Club Wasteland game is based on the pilot who flew all the people from Earth, the rich people from Earth, to Mars, um, but lost his love of his life because he thought he was going to be able to come back and rescue her, and couldn't. So he's very depressed and all that kind of stuff. It plays into a lot of these stories, but I think the golf game is showing his point of view playing this golf game and telling the story. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Going back to the Cub, it's still based on all of these things. And the High Water game on mobile is also pre them leaving Earth. Like the Earth is getting ready to leave, and it's the story of these people who are not rich enough to get on the rocket to go to Mars, but they're trying to find a way to get on that rocket. So that's what High Water is. I haven't played that one yet, but the Cub is after the effects of several years, or maybe several years down the line, where people were left behind. Some of them died off, some mutated and got used to Earth's environment. And the Cub is a kid who was left behind, is an orphan kid who messes with some of these rich people who come back to Earth and golf on the planet. Thus, the reason why you have Golf Club Wasteland,
Right.
which is also a game on the Switch, and that's another game I started playing where it's just a golf game, kind of like a mini putt, if you will, where you're trying to get um, a certain par number in order to unlock story elements, a diary, if you will, that tells the story of why this pilot is playing golf here on Earth, why the Earth is the way it is, and all that kind of stuff. And there is stuff, even though this game, Golf Club Wasteland, came out in 2021, it gives hints of the Cub in there. You can see like one of the boards, the Cub's running in the background, not running, but you can see him peeking out from behind the fence at this guy
That's
playing
awesome.
golf. So very interesting and twisted type story. And it's very, there's the radio stations, which is in both, I think all three games, same radio station from Mars playing different songs. They call it nostalgia radio, or if it's after the fact or during the fact, it was just just the radio station getting prepared for leaving Earth. But it's the radio station songs that I heard was people reminiscing about songs they heard at the time when they were on Earth. Like what there's a club song that they play that you hear. It's called Repeat or something like that, repetitive. A repetition. It's called Repetition, and it's very it's a very club song because it repeats. It goes oots, 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 that type of noise. So
That's awesome.
long-winded explanation of me explaining that I'm playing the Club, which is we got the first look video out there on that. So you see me playing it for the first time. And then I also have a review of the game dropping probably around the same time this podcast drops. So that should be out there, I think tomorrow or at the same time this is out. out on a YouTube channel. There, I have a review of the game and talk about my thoughts about this whole thing again, like I just gave now.
So an easy recommendation.
Easy recommendation. It's a very quick game to get through. It's 4 to 5 hour game, platforming game. There's collectibles in it, but I haven't found out whether or not the collectibles determine your ending or not. It didn't seem like it did, but I didn't have any indicators of whether that did or not. But I missed like 2 collectibles through the whole thing.
Nice.
So I don't know if that warrants me trying to do another playthrough to get a better ending or not, but I didn't have any indicators of whether that was the case or not. But I do recommend that game, especially if you like that kind of genre of speculative fiction, post-apocalyptic type stuff. So yes, 1984, I think, was another thing I remember reading in high school. I don't know if anybody else had to read that book, but it kind of gave me those feels too. So between that and Golf Club Wasteland, I didn't beat that yet, but I'm trying to get through it because the story again is very interesting to me. And then of course Prince of Persia, which we've already talked about. Whew. Those are all the games I've been playing. And then Marty, he wrote down he's been playing God of War Ragnarok, especially probably getting ready for that new Valhalla DLC that just came out. So
as we say, isn't the Valhalla DLC out? Yeah.
Yep, I think I just saw it was announced that it dropped today.
Nice.
So he's been playing that and Prince of Persia as well.
Nice. Yeah, I saw him arguing about a map, about like, hey, you just got the map and then you took the map away.
I guess it's a side quest where the map gets taken away and you have to go get it back.
Yeah.
So you didn't do that side quest yet.
I don't remember that one, but I was like, okay.
Yeah,
I figured something like that would be memorable.
Yeah,
or you don't use the map much.
I actually don't use the map that much. Well, I shouldn't say that. Like,
are you using the guided one or the exploration mode?
I used exploration for the first bit for quite a while.
Okay.
And then when I was trying to like get ready for review, because I thought, I can maybe get this ready for review. Dumb me. I just went to guided, and then I very quickly was like, oh yeah, I'm not getting this done for review. And then I just stuck with guided, and I was like, this is fine. This is doing what it needs to do. I'm fine with it.
I like guided mode because it kind of gives you a direction on where to go for your next, objective, if you will.
Well, and that's sort of the thing I would say about guided mode. Guided mode is like, yes, it is guided, but it's like it's pretty light guided, right? Like there's
just
a marker
thing on your map.
Yeah, there's the marker you need to go to. That's it, and you're like, oh, okay, well, that's
which is something I'm used to with Metroid Prime games in it, and I mentioned this elsewhere, but obviously Metroid Prime being one of my favorite games of all time. That was built into the maps where it gave you, question mark. This is what's going on here. You need to go investigate. So it gave you an objective to go to. And even though you may not have had the whole map available, you saw it out in this, the space on your map page that you need to go in that direction. And eventually you get a map and kind of goes from that. So I'm guessing they kind of had that idea, even though Prince of Persia is more 2D than 3D. I think they got pretty much the idea from that game and maybe any others that use that type of method of drawing you to a map. Even Castlevania might have done it too. I can't remember. It's been a while. Where it kind of gives you, okay, you need to go off over here in the castle somewhere, So
yeah.
Well, good stuff. I think we've all caught up on our games we've been playing. So hopefully next week we won't have as much.
Same stuff again?
Or the same stuff. Yeah, we don't have to carry this list over. But that's it, what we've been playing. Let's move on and do our questions from the community.
Let's do it. Do it.
All right, guys, are you ready? We got some really interesting questions this week, I think.
I am fascinated by what we have.
Right? All right, so first question comes from Chris HL94. Will the Switch successor have a separate interface for OG Switch games like the Wii games on the Wii U? I thought that was an interesting take on that, because I don't think it will, because I think that's just
Yeah,
two different architectures, and that's
it,
why they had to go do
it
that.
is pretty archaic. Yeah, you had to go into a Wii mode in order to play Wii games.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping not. I'm hoping that the Switch games can be alongside
More the
the
3DS type thing where you just pop in a DS game and you're playing a DS game. You pop in a 3DS game, you're playing a 3DS game. So
that's what I'm hoping for, at least.
it's just maybe a different shaped cartridge. That's about it.
Yeah, that's sort of what I'm hoping for as well.
Yeah.
Like,
all right.
It should just work without any mumbo jumbo.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, let's not overly complicate it. We don't need to.
Exactly. Well, especially that's the scary part of all this, right? For some of us. It's like I know there's some people who are like they like the idea of Nintendo being, different. Let's create something new. It doesn't have to be backwards compatible, or if it is, it's only briefly backwards compatible. Think DS/GBA slot, where it was like for a little bit of time there, we had the GBA slot, but then they got away from that GBA slot, right? So,
Yeah,
or
the DS, they dropped it with the DSi.
Yeah, or the Wii eventually dropping the GameCube game readability, um, or playability. So, um, but anyways, yeah, that's gonna be. I don't think we're gonna have that issue. It'd be interesting though, because Nintendo does weird things. That's what I was trying to get at. Was you never know if they're gonna
weird Nintendo decisions, right? That's sort of
yeah. There maybe the next successor is a whole other thing, and we may get a micro Switch.
Yeah,
Micro GBA.
I think they're going to keep with the same form factor for the cartridges, which makes it universal, right? At that point, then, and then I also think that once they do that, I think the cartridge sizes will be bigger, if that makes sense.
There would definitely be yes, yeah. It's gonna be something that makes it bigger and fits in there too. But
yeah. Like I'm kind of hoping the new cartridges might have more pins, which will support a faster transfer rate that is somehow still compatible with the number of pins the Switch cards have.
Yeah.
Whether it's being a separate port or the same port, just reading the right number of pins, I don't know. I don't care. I just would like to. I'd like to see the read speed increased a bit.
It's going to be interesting. That's what I'm excited about. It's scary, but I'm excited to see, what is Nintendo going to do besides just giving us an 8-bit to 16-bit type thing,
Yeah, like it's a real, like, this is a fascinating time for Nintendo. This is a fascinating year. And it'll be very interesting to see what kind of comes of it, right? So
right. All right, Drew asks, I had planned on buying and playing Prince of Persia, but then I decided to give the demo a try. The game is super polished and looks great, but realized it is not for me due to the play style and being Metroidvania. So I will be passing. Was there ever a game where the demo made you not want to buy a game? We just heard Jesse's. It was Prince of Persia.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was there any others, Jesse?
I couldn't think of any when I saw this question. It's
one that I remember that immediately popped in my mind was the original PS3 Last of Us game. I played the demo and just did not get into it at the time. I don't know if it was just at the time of
I think John's
my
finding
life.
his pitchforks now.
I know he is. That's why I wanted to say this. So it was The Last of Us on the PS3. It was like I went to GameStop and canceled my pre-order because I was like, I just didn't get into the game. So, yep. Had to
I can't think of any off the top of my head that have made me be like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. Trying to think if there's any.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure there was others like that where it was like I played the demo, and decided to not go with the game.
Yeah, this one is slightly different because I got the game as a review code. But the original Dragon Quest Builders, I played the demo. and I liked what I saw, and I was looking forward to it. And when I got the code for the, to, from Square Enix, or I was hoping I could continue from where I left off, but this time they didn't have that functionality, and now I think there is. They patched it in, but I just wasn't in the mood to start over.
Mm.
So I didn't play that game until after Builders 2 came out, played the hell out of that, and then I went back to Builders 1. And I was fine, just because I had, with that much time, I forgot what I did in the demo. I think I also played that on Xbox, but really same game. Really didn't matter much.
Gotcha.
And I do think that's one of those things of like, first, any game where, oh, by the way, your progress carries over, like, brilliant, right? Like nothing gets me more frustrated than here is the first chapter of the game, and you put an hour into it, and they're like, cool, I'm gonna have to redo that again. No, like, don't.
That's so boring.
I love like what Nintendo's approach has been, which is, here you go, this is going to carry over, and it just detects the file, and boom, you're off to the races, right? You jump in, awesome. That's what I love. The vertical slice that you kind of got from Prince of Persia, like, it gives you a flavor of the game, which is great.
Yeah, it still felt like the start of the game, but they started you beefed up.
I wonder if that was very much, I obviously didn't download it. I wonder if that's the demo that they had us play at PAX. I wonder.
We were wondering the same thing.
Yeah. I didn't play it because I was so close to getting the game. I was just I'm not going to play it. So
basically, it started off with you with a party. Story happens, then everyone breaks off into their own direction, and then you start playing.
That sounds like the beginning of the game.
Yeah, the beginning of the game.
Yeah, that's exactly how the beginning of the game starts.
You start out, you don't have the map. You don't have the map at the start of the demo either. You find someone and they give it to you.
Yep, that's the beginning of the game. But it sounds like they do beef you up in the demo, because you definitely don't get arrows right away.
No. Yeah. The demo starts you with 15 arrows. It starts you with 6 amulet slots and like 6 amulets to choose from.
That would be cool for them to do. This is the other thing I like. If you don't give me the save point, give me some items that I won't get in the regular game. Or give me some bonus items that maybe you get later on in the game, but because you play the demo, you get them early in the game. Like, give me an amulet that I won't get until later, but because I played the demo, I'm getting it now at the 100
beginning. Platinum points.
Right. Or give me some currency, that I can use. So that would be an incentive to play the demo and try out the game too. It's like, okay, if I like it, then I know, like, an outfit too. Like, even give me a cool outfit that I can't get anywhere else, not even buying it anywhere else. But as long as you pay the demo, because you can put an outfit or different looking weapons on your character too. So, give me some of those type of perks. If I play the demo, I get
X,
that way.
Y, and Z.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So I know that we got off the trail there, but yes.
No, I think it's a great conversation. I think demos are such a vital part of gaming nowadays, right? And it drives decisions. It drives whether you're going to purchase a game or not, of how it plays, and getting games into players' hands early, I think is critical, right? And so I don't know. I'm all for them. I hope that Donkey Kong and Mario has a demo that comes out. Right?
Yes.
I hope that, right? Those are all good things for, and the argument could be made with like, well, it's not really a good thing for the publisher, because like, what happens if the game sucks and they don't buy the game?
Or like in Drew's case, he played it and he decided not to buy it, so that's a lost sale.
Yeah. But you'd rather, I don't know.
You would rather have a good sale with good word of mouth than just being like, oh, I just blew $60 on a game I'm not going to play because I hated it after, not being able to try it. So, BB also flipped the question, Beer Cerveza. He's flipped the question and said, were there any games that you were not interested in, but the demo changed your mind?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, like, right now, that was another Code Recollection. right?
Yep.
I hadn't that like on a blush, I was like, that game is not a game that I would normally be playing. And then playing the demo, I was like, oh no, this actually has my attention to the point where, I'm gonna be looking to pick it up or be playing it next week, right? So
Right. Right.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the same here because I wanted to try it out, and that's why I didn't do a video because I was like, let me try this game out, and then yeah, and I was like, oh, this is great. I like how the story plays and the elements play. So that is definitely a more recent version of that. I know there's others too where I played the demo. I was like, oh yeah, I can pick this up.
Yeah. And
So
I'll actually be honest, like originally when I saw Prince of Persia initially announced, I was like, oh, that looks good, but like, is it that good? And it wasn't until playing the demo at PAX West that made me go like, oh no, that's up my alley.
yeah. All right. First time chat from Derpy S'mores. Derpy S'mores. I like that name. He says, I'm finally here. I'm learning how to not become like my parents on an ad. So he got stopped by an ad before coming in here. It's kind of funny. But he also said Nintendo really doesn't have many titles I'm interested in.
And that's fair. I'm curious about how Princess Peach is gonna fare. Are you guys interested in that? I know we've had some back channel conversations about it, but like,
Yeah,
I
like
am.
I mentioned when Marty asked like what games we were gonna, pick up or whatever, and it was like I'm interested in all of these, but in outside of what we do, I wouldn't be able to afford buying all of them.
right.
So I would have to pick and choose. So if I keep that same mindset, it's like I'm interested in all of them, but I need to learn more about each more before I
Mm.
go and say yes, I'm all in.
The vouchers from the Japan eShop help a lot.
Yes, they do. Even the vouchers from here to help a lot too.
and
So,
and the yen has gotten even worse since I bought the last set of vouchers. That's like
Oh, really?
200, like 10,000 yen is like $65 now. Where 10 years ago it was $100.
Wow. So really that's the
you're
way to
really
go.
saving
Is that
some
what you're
money
saying?
there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Nice.
when I bought the last set, plus there is an overage fee to for ordering it from PlayAsia, so they get their little bit of a profit. But even then, I bought 10,000 yen for $80.
Oh wow.
Nice. So if
Again,
again,
it's probably
everybody,
cheaper
you
now.
don't have to buy Japanese yen and go do the Japanese store to get save money. You can do the eShop vouchers now in North America, and I'm sure in other areas as well. I think other areas even had it longer. That didn't
Yeah,
stop like it did here in the
yeah.
US,
I think
but
I think North America is the only region it stopped. It was yeah. So if you buy the vouchers and buy two games, you save $20 more. If it's a game like a Zelda in there, that was
yeah,
70. But again, if you're able to maneuver the Japanese shop and do it there, you'll save a lot more
yes,
Nice.
due to the nature of the yen.
yes, very, very nice. All right. So next question is from Mecca. Klondike brought back the Choco Taco and asked you to recreate it. How would you create the perfect Choco Tacos?
I don't know if I know what a Choco Taco is.
Oh my gosh, you poor deprived man.
What's a Choco Taco?
uh,
It's a frozen dessert with ice cream with like
in the shape of
a
a taco.
chocolate in the shape of a choco with a chocolate shell and nuts, and it was pretty
It's
good.
in a waffle cone shell dipped in
Interesting.
chocolate and it has
Well,
vanilla
I'm
ice
not going
cream
to
in
say
it.
no to that.
And yeah, in the US, they don't sell them here anymore. I don't know if they still sell them in Canada, but the
Hmm.
company that made them here stopped making them. So
Cool.
Mecca's asking if basically they put us in charge to recreate the Choco Taco. Would we, how would you create the perfect Choco Taco? For me, it's just like, just bring it back out. That's perfect in itself.
Just bring it, right? Like, okay.
Just, just bring the Choco Taco. But yeah, uh, yeah. Or as Derpy S'mores says, it's a dessert taco.
A dessert taco.
Yes.
I like where it's going. I like the idea of it.
So, yep, it is. I
I
guess
wouldn't know how to improve it. I remember enjoying them when I saw them in stores.
I would say maybe getting different versions of it, like do the original first, but then have like different flavors or maybe different kinds of ice cream in it, or maybe there's some caramel in there somewhere, or a fudge ribbon, or just different
Fudge ribbon. Sure,
uh,
look at you getting all fancy with your fudge ribbons.
a cookies and cream version, so all kinds of different ways, because the same things you can do with a drumstick ice cream thing.
Yeah.
You could probably do with a Choco Taco. So
today's show is not sponsored by Choco Taco, but we're not against it.
right.
Choco Tacos. Seriously, get one.
It is lore in our dinner table conversations, though. That's why I think he asked that question. So
okay.
it is part of the dinner table lore.
Yeah, it definitely feels like, did I miss something? Did I miss a conversation about Choco Tacos?
Why is Choco Tacos coming up in a question?
Yeah.
That
why
is
is
why.
Choco Tacos trending?
Yes. Zablanc asked, thousands of articles have been written about Xbox making 10-year deals with Nintendo to bring their games to the platform. 3 questions.
Ooh,
why does Xbox need to make agreements to bring their games to Nintendo? They can just do it. What is Nintendo offering back? And do these agreements exist? Do they actually exist?
Well, it can't just be a PR stunt, right? For legal reasons, it cannot just be a PR stunt.
Correct. So
they do have to exist. There's no doubt about that. Why does Nintendo or why does Xbox need to? Well, I think in those cases they were trying to justify their decisions and what they were doing.
Yeah, it was more of a show for the FTC.
It was show. Exactly. It was very showy. I think the other part of it is that Xbox understands and realizes they're in a situation that they're not winning, and they haven't been winning for a long time.
Yeah.
And so
they're going through the cycle that Nintendo did in the Wii U era, where they're like, we should abandon the consoles and just go third-party software.
Yeah, and I think
do the SEGA.
I think what it is the decision that, hey, we're not winning, we have to make a different strategy, and so we're going to pivot and change our strategy, right? And so they're sort of going for the blue ocean strategy that the we had back when it was originally there, which was like everybody wants it, everybody plays it, right? And so Xbox's strategy is more being about just being completely ubiquitous, right, and accessible wherever. So I don't know, what were the questions again?
Why does Xbox need to make agreements to bring their games to Nintendo? Why don't they just do it?
Yeah, there is a PR showmanship there. Look at us, we're playing with Nintendo, and it's sort of like the golden boy, right? Like, let's rub close to that, and maybe some of that shine comes to us, right? In some way, like, hey, if you like Call of Duty or you like these games, we're gonna put them there. But by the way, they're actually on ours, right? And so I think that's what their strategy is also going to be in regards to like Sea of Thieves being rumored right now for PlayStation. Obviously Hi-Fi Rush being rumored for a Nintendo Switch is a statement of like, if you love those games there, maybe you're going to love the sequels on our console, right? And you're going to go buy an Xbox or buy a subscription. And so it's sort of a trying to bridge as much content as they can.
Right.
And even if it wasn't the FTC thing, there definitely are agreements going on, because Nintendo can just say, no, I don't want that game on there. And that's it. But you don't need a 10-year agreement to make that decision. That's more of a game-by-game basis. But I think in general, the 10-year deal was more show for the FTC to show that, to let them purchase Activision Blizzard King.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was no doubt that was a show.
The other part of this question was, what is Nintendo offering back, if anything? That's just they're offering their game being on their system.
Yeah, I don't know what the offer is for Nintendo. Nintendo is like all right, you can put your stuff here. That's cool, right? Like,
we'll take 30% of your digital sales.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like I don't like it's a
Yeah.
win-win for Nintendo at all
Yeah.
points.
We're not going
But
to
also
see we're not going to see Zelda come out on Xbox.
but there also might be stuff like, we would like GoldenEye. We think GoldenEye would be pretty cool over here. Okay, well, if you want GoldenEye, right? You scratch my back, I scratch your back.
Right.
Right. And all the back scratching is good for Nintendo, but it is sort of like if we can get if when you load up Ori, right, and the Xbox logo comes up first, that's a weird moment, right? But you're like, that's cool though, right? That's
Just as
cool.
weird as seeing MLB show time, the show come
Yeah.
up and you see the PlayStation, thing
Right.
come up there.
Xbox's statement of like playing we played together better or whatever that thing is, right?
Oh, that
I'm
was
I'm gonna
awesome time at that time too. It's just
Great
seeing.
strategy,
Oh yeah.
great move, right? Like absolutely, and just lit up PlayStation, right? I
Oh
love
yeah,
that.
for sure.
But like,
It made up for those times PlayStation lit up them up.
yeah, this will
This
sound
is how you
bad.
trade a game.
Right. Yes.
You don't need to make that strategy or that statement when you're number one,
Right.
right? You need friends and you need partners when you're not number one.
Hmm.
And so Xbox recognizes they're not that. So let's partner with the other, like who's number two? Well, in this case, it's these people, right? So let's hang out together and do that. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Well,
I
and at
think
the
that's
time, Nintendo was number one selling console too at the
correct.
time
Yeah.
because PlayStation couldn't get enough out. So, but yeah, that makes sense. And we kind
I
of
don't know if that
figured,
helps it helps at all.
I'm sure it's all the same things John was thinking too, but just kind of, wanted to get our take on it. And I'm sure that he might have something we'll have to listen to, find out what his side of it is. Again,
I don't want to
Zablanc,
hear his side. I don't care.
for those who are wondering what I'm talking about, Zablanc again is John from our Dad's After Dark show team. So, if you want to hear their side of things, maybe they already talked about this, or maybe they will in their upcoming show. All right. Darth Platypus asks, what sources do you guys trust on video game news, be it YouTube, websites, podcast, or the like? Where do you guys get your video game news?
Yeah, my video game. I'll be honest with you. My video game news outlets. I listen to Kind of Funny Games daily every single day. I do like their content. IGN is pretty reliable and pretty strong source. Game Explained, we're good friends with Andre, so that's always a good one as well. So some of that's news, some of that's opinions. I do like a little bit of that. Those are sort of like my big three that I
Mhm.
stick to, right? I think from a Nintendo dad's perspective, my Nintendo news
Yeah.
and Nintendo everything are sort of our big. I'll be honest, like at the top of the show when we're like, what's in the news? Not a lot. Okay, let's go check the other websites. Did we miss something? That's usually where we pull that information from, along with like tweets or information that have come out or PR or press releases that we pull. But like Nintendo Life is another one, actually. That's a big one. So I
Mhm.
think like, yeah, my Nintendo news, Nintendo everything, and Nintendo Life are my big like Nintendo specific web pages I go to. IGN is, of course, IGN is just huge, right? You know them from everything, so they're pretty good. And then from a video or podcast perspective, I go to Kind of Funny and Game Explain.
Yep. I play around with a lot of those too. And
I like that.
there's what's that?
uh Darius
Oh,
Darius Pie Moore, not sure if I can trust a guy without a beard. Hey, this
herpes.
isn't bad. This isn't horrible, right?
I for Nintendo stuff, because we're always trying to stay on top of the news, we keep up that pretty good. But I like hearing other people's takes on the same news kind of topics we kind of talk about too. So I'll listen to Nintendo Drive, or All In podcast or Nintendo Pals. I'll listen to their takes on that kind of stuff, or even IGN's and NVC, their stuff
Yeah.
on that, and Game Explain. But they talk about a lot of stuff over there too. But besides just Nintendo, but they got those guys over there for a lot of Nintendo stuff. And then for other things outside of that, there's the Xbox Drive and the PlayStation Trophy Room um, that I listen to there, and then XEP as well. So I listen
Mm-hmm.
to them for Xbox stuff. And yeah, I think that's it.
I'm getting love on my hairstyle. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Right. It's a strong style. It's a strong style.
Yeah.
Yep, Derpy S'mores. I was right.
Derpy S'mores.
Derpy S'mores. That's why I was laughing at the name. It's pretty funny.
For like daily YouTube content, I try to watch Spawnwave channel.
Oh yeah,
News roundup every morning. He's pretty good. Then he does like extra different type of show on the weekends, like tech breakdown or whatever. Just a monologue of whatever else is on his mind that isn't necessarily news related, but more opinion.
Yeah, on the video side, I listen to that and RGT85, I think is his name.
Yeah, I struggle with him sometimes, but
I think it's funny sometimes what he comes up with.
and I also like modern vintage gaming. He normally puts out a video every Monday. Yeah,
Jeff Grubb's show is pretty good. I think is he with Giant Bomb or someone? Can't remember who it is, but yeah, Jeff Grubb has a morning show as well. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then as I also try to subscribe to as many of the big developers and publishers as I can, so they put out, they put out trailers or release date notices just on, in a 90-second YouTube video. Like I subscribe to the Japanese Jupiter account just to see what weird stuff they've got going on sometimes.
And I think that's sort of an interesting thing to think about as well. And I know this is sort of stepping outside the question a little bit, but like, I think when you're in this space, you sort of have to be a student of the space, right? And so you have to kind of be hungry and you have to like have your, eyes open to like what's going on in the gaming market, who's covering what information is being said, how does that, what are my opinions in relation to that, where can those things come across, what are, like you sort of have to become like a student is the way I would like, always open, always curious, always questioning, because I think like for us, like we could just give a lens that's just Nintendo, which is great, like we're good at that, we know that. But when we can put that in contextualize that with stuff like PlayStation and Xbox, and by the way, here are the sales numbers, but by the way, and remember, Nintendo doesn't do this. That provides so much more of a rounded response to our commentary, right? And so I think when you enter the space of content creation, like you sort of have to do your research, and that's tweets, that's subscribing to people, that's watching other content, that is, looking at websites, that's, so you just sort of have to, that's your data, that's your stuff you're digging through, that's your inputs that you need for your outputs, right? In this case, for a show and for content, and to be, I think, pundits in that space, right? So yeah.
Nice. All right. Darth Platypus also asked, and what with the cold weather around, which Nintendo characters would you like to go skiing, snowboarding, curling with?
Thank you for throwing in curling. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. I see what you did there.
I don't know, because I'd rather not be outside when it's cold.
You know who I'd like to hang out with this weather, who'd probably just be awesome, would be the ice climbers. Right? They know what's going on in this weather.
That like or those penguins. Those penguins would be fun.
Yeah.
They would know how to slide around and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought they were portrayed so well in the Super Mario movie. I thought that was brilliant.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Last question. Yeah, no voicemails. Last question from Mikey Burgett. With the new year and a new round of stuff going in the public domain like Steamboat Willie, if you were developing a video game based on Steamboat Willie, what type of game would it be?
What kind of game would it be?
I would say what would be kind of fun, I think, would be if Dredge came out with a Steamboat Willie DLC where it was black and white.
Cool. That'd be really
and you were Steamboat
cool,
Willie.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
The new skin for the Wind Waker.
I would like for it to be a murder mystery solving game where you have to go back through back and forward in Walt Disney's history and time to determine who stole a key or did something, and you have to kind of piece together who who done it,
Whodunit.
right? But it is a like time traveling heist sort of game where you need to go like back in the past and the future of Disney.
But if you have blended times, then not everything's in public domain yet.
I don't know what to tell you. All right. There was a game that actually had a very Steamboat Willie, Billy Rainbow. Was it Billy Rainbow? I kickstarted this game. And it's out right now on the Nintendo Switch, and it looks like Steamboat Willie. And when they did the pitch for Kickstarter, I was like, that is Steamboat Willie. Rainbow Bill?
The Rainbow Billy.
Rainbow Billy. You want to pull that up? That is a that definitely had a very Steamboat Willie art style. It's done by Manifold Entertainment. We actually have a first look on our YouTube channel if you're interested. But it very much sort of has a
I obviously didn't play that first look, so because I don't know what that game is.
I played that first look because I sponsored it.
Yeah, that's right. You did. That's right.
It during Kickstarter. Yeah, but that reminded me of a Steamboat Willie.
But nice. Okay.
Just like carts. I mean, obviously the other one that instantly when you think of Steamboat Willie, you think of Cuphead, right? That art style, that like. So I have a very hard time when you're like, what game would it be like with Steamboat Willie? I'm like, but just do Cuphead. Just make Steamboat Willie a Cuphead skin and you're fine, right? But that's so interconnected.
I have to rewatch Steamboat Willie. It's been forever since I watched that one, but maybe you could even do a roguelite card-based game for Steamboat Willie to get through that, that river, cool. Get through the challenges and use cards.
Yeah, that'd be very cool.
All right. That is our community questions. Thank you so much for that. And thanks for everybody who stopped by in the chat today. Like Darth Platypus and Mecha Dragon. I missed everybody who might have been before that because I didn't turn my chat on, until late. Beer's in here. And of course, our new first time chatter, Derpy S'mores. So thank you all for stopping in there.
Engaged Family Gaming was here too. I saw that. Yeah.
Nice. Yep. Yes. Like I said, I might have missed some people from joining in late. So thank you all for that. And thank you all for the questions. Again, if you want to submit any questions, you can submit them through, submit them anywhere, but we usually ask in our community, either in Discord or on Patreon. So if you ever want to do that, just go over there and submit it. But until then, a huge thanks to all of our Patreon producers, Dave Ernsberger, Jacqueline Amira, RJ Kern, and our other 90 plus Patreons. Next, a special thank you to our 20 Twitch subscribers and over 1,426 Twitch followers, and a shout out to our 7,277 YouTube subscribers. Thank you, everyone. We would not be here if it wasn't for you. Whether you subscribe or follow or share us with anybody else, or your Patreon and give us $1 or more. Thank you all for that very much. It allows us to do the things that we're able to do here and hopefully be able to celebrate big our 10-year anniversary and 500 episodes this year. Check out our website at nintendodads.org for Spotify podcast feeds on our show, as well as the other NINDADS family of podcasts like the Dads After Dark show, and the Retro Logic family of podcasts featuring Retro Logic, On Topic Retro, Retro Groove, and Film Logic. Our latest YouTube videos and tweets are there, links to all our social medias, Patreon, and Extra Life pages, and of course our Nintendo Dads merch. In fact, if you go to nintendodads.org/merch, you'll be able to see all our wonderful merchandise there and pick up a sticker or a shirt or a hoodie or a hat. But go check that stuff out if you can. That also supports us here at Nintendo Dads. Along with what else supports us is our sponsors, manscaped.com. Get 20% off your Manscaped order with free shipping with code NINDADS. And we also have HelloFresh.com, 50% off and no fee on your first HelloFresh order. And I believe that code is, and I don't know why I keep forgetting to add it here, but it's 50 in NINDADS, or is it NINDADS 50?
It changes every month, actually, so you have to look at the ad read, yeah.
Okay. All right. You know that you got to know what it is, right?
I know, but I don't remember. I did the ad read like 6 weeks ago when I submitted
it. All right,
so
you'll probably hear it sometime through here. Yeah. Unless you're a Patreon, you won't hear it. So you can contact us in most places by typing Nintendo Dads or emailing us at nintendodads@gmail.com, Or you can call in and leave a voicemail at 929-25-NDADS or 929-256-3237. Big thanks to OC Remix for the music throughout the show. Download from your favorite podcast app of choice, and please leave us a 5-star review and a comment. Thanks so much, everybody. For me, Justin, Jesse, and Marty, we'll check you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Another Code Recollection is now live.
Oh, nice.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
Do you know who I am? Nintendo Dads.